All right, welcome back to SOS. I'm Staff Sergeant Badass, and today we are going to do 10 more items. Now, just so you guys and gals are aware, if you're keeping up with the channel, well, those of you who keep up with the channel know that I do this about every week or so. This is 10 items for bugging in and things you can keep in your house. So if you want to see the other list, I do 10 items. I just pick 10 random items and I throw them on there. They're in no particular order, but I still kind of number them, okay? So we can keep track. All right, let's get started. Number 10 on my list is charcoal, and billions of uses for charcoal right now. You can make your own charcoal. There's a way of doing it. It is simply building a fire and breaking it up and things like that. There's a way of making your own charcoal and using that charcoal to filter water and all sorts of stuff. I've done classes on all that stuff. So, but charcoal kind of just takes that yucky flavor out. That's kind of what charcoal's for, with water filter. So, charcoal for cooking, right? Cooking food and stuff, right? You don't have any power. There's no electricity. You've ran out of, say, little propane bottles for your Coleman cook set or whatever you've got going on. In the event, just in case, it's always good to have charcoal. Plus, you never know when you might want to just do a random barbecue and cook everything in your freezer because your electricity doesn't work anymore. All right, next up, number 9, cooking oils. While we're talking about cooking oils. Now, cooking oils is very important, and it's also very important to number 8 on my list. And we already know about cooking oils. How many different uses can we use a cooking oil for? Number 8 on my list, cast iron pots, pans, all that stuff. Dutch ovens. There's a way to add the coating to you got to break them in. So breaking in your cast iron is very important to keep it from rusting and getting all funky and all that stuff. You've seen people just throw cast iron away because they ruin it. Well, there's a way to get a nice coating on it, and that kind of falls into the category of cooking oils. So I kind of figured cooking oils and then cast iron. I figured throw those two together. I'm almost out of breath. All right, we'll keep going. Number 7 on the list, tea, coffee, Gatorade, and Kool-Aid. Gatorade and Kool-Aid, I got to thinking about adding Pedialyte. I don't know how many of you have kids, but Pedialyte works in many situations, okay, for an adult or a youngster, all right? But I added Gatorade, and I figured, you can get big containers of Gatorade and mix as you go. A little scoop, add it to water, and figured that'd be good. And Kool-Aid's very handy if you want to do sugar and Kool-Aid packets, or you want to add just the Kool-Aid. So there's that too. That stuff you can put in storage, it'll last forever. So good stuff to keep in mind. Coffee and tea, on the other hand. Tea I'm not too sure about, but coffee, I think it will kind of start losing its pick-me-up. So you want to vacuum seal it or keep it sealed. Get those bricks. That's what I buy. I buy the bricks, the espresso bricks. That's the ones I buy. Every time I see them at Walmart and I pass by and I'm in the coffee section, I grab one. It's not that big of a deal. A couple of bucks, get you one, and there you go. For those of you with kids, number 6 on my list, if you've got tiny little babies or people in your neighborhood that have tiny little babies, this is an item that's very expensive to prep for. It's expensive. If you have a baby, if you've had a baby, formula is expensive. So the powdered formula, we keep it on hand. We keep containers of that stuff. We cycle it out. It's a great bartering chip. Not that we would, I wouldn't hold it on somebody that you will give us this or no baby formula. I wouldn't be that guy. But it is a good item to have. So, but they might have something you can need. You might actually need. So there you go. Number 6, baby formula. Number 5 on my list. Now, okay, back to number 6 real quick before I move on. Sippy said I should do like a kids bugging in list, but I decided not to. So I added number 6 to that before you ask. Number 5 on the list. I know I covered weapons, but I didn't get specific. And when I did tools, I left this out. so I figured I'd save it for this. Number 5, saws, axes, hatchets, and the other one is sharpening stones, sharpening tools, anything to do with sharpening. And I know I left that out, and I apologize. So I'm adding that to this list, number 5. So you got to have a good saw, and I mean, there's a bunch of different ones that you can do. So for a saw or for an axe, and they're rarely, pretty affordable. Don't go too cheap on an axe. I'm saying that you'll regret it with your hands and just everything. Don't go cheap on an axe. That's the truth. A saw, I mean, you can buy replacement blades for, for buck saws and things like that. So keep that in mind. All right, number 4 on the list. Here we go. I did rat traps before, so I figured this time I'll do bug-related traps, like for roaches, sprays. What if you get a lot of ants? People in Cali get a lot of ants. We get ants. So bug sprays and things like that. It's always good to keep it underneath your sink in the event that, it's going to be a long, long road, and something like that, you could use it sparingly to keep the bugs out, right? Number 3 on my list. This was an interesting one added by a subscriber. A few of these were mentioned, and I'd tell them, hey, look, just give me a little while. I'll add it to the list or something like that. Number 3 on the list, wagons, wheelbarrows, and carts. I thought that was a great idea. Definitely a wheelbarrow. We have a wheelbarrow we got from somebody else. A guy was throwing it away, and nothing wrong with it. He just didn't know how to air the tire up. I aired the tire up. It's fantastic. I move stuff around the house all the time. So yes, wagons, wheelbarrows, and carts. We have a couple of carts and one wagon. So, but anyways, I think we're covered in that department. But just in case you're not, and you have a little place that you can move stuff around, those wagons and carts, those garden carts are nice. I like those big off-road tires. All right, enough about that. Number 2 on the list, aluminum foil. Aluminum foil has 1 billion different uses for signaling, using it for fire insulation, all sorts of stuff. The list goes on and on and on, and just craziness with aluminum foil. You can look up like the 30 different uses for aluminum foil, so it's somewhere around in there. So just figured I'd share. There's so many uses for aluminum foil. All right, so I figured I'd throw it on the list. Number 1 on the list, and like I said, these were in no particular order, but I was finishing up the list and I was at number 1, and Sippy just yelled out gas mask. So I was helping her with a gas mask that she's adjusting because school's getting ready to start back. She brings one in her little pack doodad. Doesn't take up a lot of room, so she kind of shoves the filter into the gas mask and shoves it into like a cup holder. But gas masks are very important, and we live next to a chemical plant. So if anything happens, and last year we had an event that we had some, literally it was shelter in place for all of us here. All of us were put in shelter in place, and we weren't allowed to leave our homes. I couldn't go rescue Sippy. Sippy couldn't come home. The boy was in school, and he was shelter in place. Don't be alarmed, but you can't go get your kid. So we had those kind of moments. So gas masks are very important for us. Now, I don't know if they are to you, but definitely for bugging in, it's always good to have a gas mask. How are you supposed to go outside if you need something out there for whatever reason without a gas mask? And yes, I've got all this. It doesn't take long to lose it. I shaved for years and years in the Marine Corps while I was in the shower with just a razor and some water, and I didn't even have a mirror. But I used to shave my head and face within seconds. So I'm pretty sure if you go up and down just like that, all this will eventually come off. So before anyone says something, I just figured I'd add that. All right, that's all I got. I hope this helps, and I hope you enjoy this stuff. If you do, please tell me below that you enjoyed it and you like it. Please share it with your friends, and take a look at the other list. I've already done a couple of them now, so I think this is like number 3 I've made. So this is a new thing. I'm trying to incorporate this into the channel so that you guys can get a little bit more. And I know people have said to me that they learn more when they kind of hear stuff like this, and it gives them ideas, and it helps them figure out what they need in their home and organize. So that's why I'm doing it. I'm helping others that ask me. So I know I could sit here and show you a bunch of stuff. You need a knife. You need a knife in your home, and you need You need radio. You know, I'm not rich. I can't afford it. I don't have that kind of money to throw a bunch of stuff on the counter all the time and do that. So I'm doing it like this. Talking points, right? When you broke, do talking points. All right. Watch SOS. I'm Stat Sergeant Badass. Have a beautiful, fabulous, fantastic day. Rainbows and unicorns. Thank you and God bless.